It's mid-November, and the last hints of autumn are quickly fading away. The leaves have mostly fallen, the days are growing noticeably shorter, and there's a chill in the air that wasn't there just a week ago. People are still clinging to lighter jackets, but there's a sense of anticipation, almost as if everyone is bracing for what's about to come. Now winter is about to make a dramatic entrance, and it's not sneaking in quietly. Instead, it's rolling in with a force that demands attention. As the skies darken, and the wind begins to howl through empty streets and across open fields. A major Arctic blast is brewing far to the north, and meteorologists are sounding the alarm. This isn't just a typical cold snap. Forecasters are tracking a powerful shift in the jet stream, one that could send a surge of frigid air and heavy snow sweeping across much of the United States. From the northern plains to the east coast, millions could soon find themselves in the grip of winter's first true test. This isn't just another cold front, this is a large-scale event tied directly to the polar vortex, a swirling mass of cold air that usually stays locked over the Arctic. When it weakens, as it's doing now, it can unleash waves of bitter cold and snow far to the south. The impacts could be widespread, disrupting travel plans, straining energy grids, and forcing people to rethink their daily routines as the holiday season approaches. Extremely cold air, typically trapped over the North Pole, is now poised to spill southward in a dramatic fashion. This surge will bring not only significant snowfall to many regions, but also dangerous wind chills and icy conditions that could linger for days. For some areas, this could be the coldest air felt so far this season, with temperatures plunging well below average and blizzard-like conditions possible in the hardest-hit spots. Over the next couple of weeks, a series of fast-moving storms will set the stage for this Arctic invasion. Each system will lay down fresh snow, create slick roads, and make it even more important to be prepared. Now's the time to dig out your winter coats, check your snow shovels, and make sure your car is ready for icy commutes. Communities are already mobilizing snowplows and salt trucks, and families are bracing for the first real taste of winter. In this special report, we'll break down exactly what's happening in the atmosphere, why this pattern matters, and who needs to be on high alert for the season's first major blast. We'll look at the science behind the polar vortex, the regions most at risk, and how you can stay safe and prepared as the weather takes a dramatic turn. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and get ready, because winter is about to arrive in a big way. Whether you love the snow or dread the cold, this is one weather event you won't want to ignore. Let's dive into what's coming, and how you can be ready for winter's first big warning shot. The polar vortex isn't a monster lurking in the sky waiting to pounce on unsuspecting cities. Instead, it's a natural part of our planet's atmospheric system, an enormous persistent area of low pressure and extremely cold air that swirls high above the North and South poles. This swirling mass is always present, but it becomes especially important during the winter months, when its behavior can have dramatic effects on weather patterns far from the Arctic. Picture a giant, invisible ring of frigid air, spinning counterclockwise around the pole, held in place by powerful winds. This is the polar vortex, a vast, icy fortress that usually keeps the coldest air trapped far to the north, away from most of the United States and Europe. During a typical winter, a strong jet stream acts like a barrier, circling the polar vortex and locking that bitter cold in place. As a result, much of the US enjoys relatively mild winter weather, with the harshest chills confined to the Arctic. But sometimes, the polar vortex weakens or even splits apart. When this happens, the jet stream becomes wavy and unstable, dipping far to the south. This opens the floodgates, allowing Arctic air to spill down into regions that aren't used to such extreme cold. That's when you see dramatic headlines about Arctic blasts and polar vortex outbreaks. Suddenly, cities that rarely see sub-zero temperatures are plunged into deep freezes, and people scramble to stay warm as the coldest air on Earth descends upon them. It's important to remember that the polar vortex itself isn't a storm or a single event. Instead, it's a vast, swirling system that acts as a gatekeeper, controlling where the planet's coldest air travels. Its strength and position can mean the difference between a mild winter and a record-breaking cold snap. When the vortex is strong and stable, the cold air stays locked up near the pole, and winter remains manageable for most of us. But when it weakens, the cold escapes, and we have to brace ourselves for sudden, severe weather changes, sometimes with little warning. Right now, meteorologists are closely monitoring signs that the polar vortex is losing its grip. forecast models show a significant weakening, which could set the stage for a major shift in weather patterns across the northern hemisphere. That's why forecasters are sounding the alarm, urging people to prepare for a potential big chill. Weather alerts are being issued and experts are warning that the coming weeks could bring some of the coldest temperatures of the season. So, get ready. The polar vortex is about to make its presence felt in a big way. Whether you're a winter weather enthusiast or someone who dreads the cold, understanding the polar vortex can help you prepare for whatever Mother Nature has in store. Deep in the Arctic, a powerful force shapes the weather for much of the northern hemisphere. This force is known as the polar vortex, a vast swirling mass of cold air that sits high above the North Pole, contained by strong winds that circle the region. But sometimes, this icy fortress is disrupted by a dramatic event called sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. This phenomenon is marked by a rapid spike in temperatures, not at the surface, but high up in the stratosphere, miles above the ground. When this warming occurs, it sets off a chain reaction that can have far-reaching consequences for weather patterns across the globe. During an SSW, the polar vortex weakens dramatically. The once stable vortex can split apart, sending large lobes of frigid Arctic air spilling southward into lower latitudes. This is the mechanism behind some of the most intense cold snaps experienced in North America, Europe, and Asia. The cold air once locked away in the Arctic is suddenly unleashed, traveling thousands of miles and bringing with it the potential for snowstorms, icy winds, and plummeting temperatures. Imagine the polar vortex as a spinning top. When it's spinning smoothly, it stays upright and contained. But if you give it a nudge, like the sudden warming in the stratosphere, it starts to wobble, lose its balance, and veer off course. This wobble is what allows the cold air to escape its Arctic home and surge southward, affecting millions of people far from the pole. The effects of sudden stratospheric warming don't happen overnight. It can take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks for the disrupted polar vortex to send its icy messengers our way. But meteorologists are always on the lookout for the early warning signs. By analyzing atmospheric data, temperature trends, and wind patterns high above the Earth, forecasters can often predict these events before they impact our daily lives. Right now, advanced weather models are picking up on the development of a sudden stratospheric warming event. These models use vast amounts of data and powerful algorithms to simulate the atmosphere, and they're signaling that a major cold blast is on the horizon. The projections point to late November and early December as the period when the coldest air will likely arrive, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in weather. This process isn't just a random occurrence, it's a large-scale, predictable event that scientists have studied for decades. By understanding the dynamics of the polar vortex and the triggers for sudden stratospheric warming, meteorologists can provide valuable forecasts that help communities prepare for extreme cold. As the stratosphere warms over the Arctic, it forces the cold air out of its usual boundaries. The jet stream, a fast-moving river of air high in the atmosphere, acts as a guide, steering these frigid air masses southward. This interaction between the warming event and the jet stream is what brings the Arctic chill to regions that are often unprepared for such extremes. Computer models from around the world are in agreement. The process is already underway. The coldest air of the season is poised to descend as November draws to a close, and the impacts could be felt across multiple continents. Meteorologists are closely monitoring the situation, updating forecasts as new data comes in. So, as the Arctic prepares to unleash its icy grip, now is the time to get ready. Bundle up, stay informed, and prepare for a true Arctic invasion that could shape the start of winter for millions. The first half of November has been a tale of two coasts, warmth and dryness in the west, early winter chill in the east. A ridge of high pressure kept the west mild while a trough brought repeated cold shots to the east, with below-average temperatures and even some early snow. This east-west divide is a classic sign of a wavy jet stream. But that's about to change. The established pattern is breaking down. Showers are popping up nationwide, signaling a transition. A series of storms will soon mix these air masses, paving the way for a much larger Arctic intrusion. The mild west and cold east setup is ending. Get ready for a nationwide shift toward true winter. This week, a series of storms will sweep across the country, setting the stage for the Arctic blast. Out west, heavy snow hits the Sierra Nevada, while the Northeast gets a wintry taste from a Great Lakes system. By Monday, a new low develops in the central states, bringing showers and thunderstorms from the plains to the Midwest. The jet stream grows more active, with scattered showers and mountain snow continuing midweek. These storms are drawing in Gulf moisture and nudging cold air south, rearranging the atmospheric chessboard. While none of these are the main event, they're crucial opening acts for the Arctic invasion. Thanksgiving week will bring the real winter punch. As Thanksgiving approaches, the weather turns volatile. Around November 20th, a powerful low over Kansas sparks severe storms in the southern plains and Mississippi Valley. By Friday, this system races toward the Great Lakes, bringing rain and travel headaches, while colder air follows behind. The atmosphere stays active, with more lows developing, one dumping heavy snow in the Rockies, another triggering storms in the South and Ohio Valley. The jet stream is highly amplified, fueling back-to-back storms and building deep snowpacks in the west. This chaotic stretch is the final act before the true Arctic air arrives. The stage is set for winter's main event. The real action is happening high above, as a sudden stratospheric warming peaks around November 23rd-25th. This destabilizes the polar vortex, causing it to split and unleashing Arctic air southward. The cold won't hit instantly, but by late November, a massive dome of frigid air will plunge into the central and northern U.S. Both American and European models show this cold air spreading from the plains to the northeast, with a sharp front sparking new storms and heavy snow. This is the high-confidence event forecasters have been tracking. The polar vortex split is the cause. The Arctic outbreak is the effect. The only question: where will the coldest air and heaviest snow hit hardest? The first Arctic plunge targets the northern plains and upper Midwest. Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin will see single-digit highs or worse. The cold then spreads south and east, shocking cities like Chicago and Kansas City. The boundary between cold and warm air becomes a storm track, with heavy snow possible from the Rockies through the plains and into the Great Lakes. The exact storm path matters. A small shift changes snow totals dramatically. Most of the country will see above-average moisture, fueling storms as the cold arrives. The central U.S. is ground zero for the first major snow, while the southeast may see severe storms. The northeast will get cold and likely lake-effect snow. Everyone east of the Rockies should brace for a dramatic winter shift. As December begins, the Arctic air will be locked in across the central and eastern U.S. Watch for new storms developing along the southern edge of the cold, bringing more snow, ice and rain to the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. This cold pattern looks to stick around, so now's the time to prepare. Check your heating, insulate pipes, and gather winter gear. Prep your car with an emergency kit, blankets, flashlight, snacks, and a snow scraper. Stay tuned to local forecasts for updates on storm tracks and travel impacts. This is a high-confidence forecast for a major pattern change, but local details will keep evolving. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll guide you through this winter blast.